Good morning, everyone. It's Erin Gilly with Benchmark Mortgage, and we are on video 2 of our reverse mortgage series. So first off, you can receive 30 to 75% of the equity in your home. That's based on your current age and the interest rates, and it's a sliding scale. As we talked about in the last video, FHA guarantees the loan. So what this means to you is you will never have a monthly payment on your HECM as long as you are living in the house as your primary residence. Typically, people pass away, and that's when it becomes that they're not currently living in their house as their primary residence, and your heirs have 1 year from the date that you vacate your home to figure out what they're going to do with the loan. So they can sell it, they can refinance it, but they have an entire year to figure out that situation. Second, only your home's equity is signed on the loan. Where a forward mortgage, you are personally liable for the loan. So what this means to you is you're not liable for it, your heirs aren't liable for it, your estate isn't liable for it, if you have a trust, it's not liable for it. Any other assets that you have cannot be tied to the home. So if you live longer than expected, let's say you get a reverse mortgage at age 62, you live until you're 98, all of the equity has been drawn out of your home, and we went through a housing crisis and the equity of your home, the value of your home is no longer there. The house is not, they can't come back after you or your estate or any of your assets. FHA files an insurance claim and they cover that. Now, on the flip side of the coin, let's say that housing prices continue to appreciate at 6% a year. You pass away and you still have $50,000 of equity in your home. Your heirs can sell that, and that can be part of their inheritance at that point. Payments are optional with HECMs. So you do never have to make a payment, but you can make payments. So that's another kind of misconception. You can make monthly payments if you feel like you want to. You can make annual payments if you want to, or you can make lump sum payments. So a lot of people use this to tax consequences when drawing out of your IRA. There'll be less consequences if you pay it on your HECM. Cash flow, or some people just feel like they want to pay it back slowly. You must be 62 years of age. At least one person on the loan must be 62. We've talked about that. It must be your primary residence, and your credit and income must be able to pay for taxes and insurance. I'm going to read you a little story just to kind of get your wheels turning in your head for some certain circumstances. So we're going to look at two couples here. We have Diane and Bob, and we have Linda and David. They live next to one another in similarly valued homes in a nice neighborhood. Both Dave and Bob retired at the same time from the same company. Bob drew his Social Security check at age 62. He signed up the same day that he retired. David wanted to wait, so when he turned 62, he took out a reverse mortgage, and he took payments from 62 to 70 to supplement the money that he was not getting in Social Security. So all of them worked part-time for fun money. Bob's monthly income was $1,500 a month, and by the time David got to 70, his Social Security was $2,600 a month. When they went on vacation together or bought new cars, they would both draw out money from their IRAs. Bob paid more in taxes most years because of his Social Security, IRA, and part-time income created more income tax. David's income from the HECM was not taxable, so when he drew out money from his IRA, he didn't need as much because he paid very little or nothing in taxes. After enjoying more than 2 decades of retirement together, both David and Bob passed away at age 85. Now, it wasn't David and Bob, it was just Diane and Linda. Linda's Social Security check was almost double than Diane's, and she had more money left in her IRA. Every time she drew it out, she would make payments to her HECM line of credit and receive a tax deduction on the interest that had accrued. Almost all of her IRA ended up being tax-free. Diane could not make ends meet on her drastically reduced income. She asked Linda about her HECM, which Bob had always said was a dumb idea. Linda told her about the program, but it had changed dramatically in the last 20 years. Because of her real estate taxes had increased and her IRA was mostly gone, Diane could not qualify on her own anymore. Now she would need to decide whether to borrow money on credit cards or keep things going to sell the home before she got behind on her taxes. Most of her remaining assets were stuck in the liquidity of her equity. So this is kind of the scenario that we're talking about and that we want to avoid. Unfortunately, men statistically are passing away a lot earlier than women. And one of the spouses, the remaining spouse, regardless of how it plays out, needs to make sure that they are able to live on the reduced Social Security income. So another thing to think about, and another way that a reverse mortgage could be useful. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye.